that first episode is so different tonally from that second episode, and it makes me wonder how much each episode is going to feel like an individual comic, where we get the introduction to everyone, we know we want to like them, but how do we like them, and then you unravel them each episode as you go. And when you finish a graphic novel, there's a sense of that family, there's that sense of community, there's that sense of team, but we've never really seen it with Monsters, because they are not meant to be in one contained thing. They are inherently violent at each other. So I think it's a really interesting swing to put us together into and throw us into the deep end with one human eyeline. Like, just Rick Flag is our identifier. The rest, monsters.
I mean, I think television, just like the narrative storytelling element of it, episodic television especially, like it's very much like the comic storytelling process, I think.
So as like a fancy cinema guy, how does this compare? Like, watching this animation, did you feel like you were watching, I don't know, like Casablanca or something? Like, were you like,
it's a little different than Casablanca for sure, but a little less colorful, a little more colorful.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think I can see a lot of like reference points. I think that like this idea of like, as I said, like getting a team together, like a misfit group of people who have their own tensions and complications, they're going to butt heads no matter what. I mean, I think a lot of Westerns, like Magnificent Seven, which is based on Seven Samurai, a Japanese film, which is about like a bunch of like cowboys basically, or samurai from the original, who are kind of given a task by this town to come basically save them, to like protect them from this like group of villains, which I think is kind of, Seven Samurai is kind of like the narrative like acorn, I think, where you can find that kind of grows into a tree, where Creature Commandos is on the branch somewhere. But even like, Freaks, the Todd Browning movie, which is about like basically sideshow freaks at a circus. We would probably use different names to describe them today if that movie were coming out, but that's about like interlopers, like two like con people trying to like take advantage of, I think, like one of the little people who are part of the circus, and like all of them band together to take revenge. So I think that that's a beautiful thing. When, I mean, it's kind of scary at the same time, but like I think that's what make people relate to these type of stories, where you have so many different characters who can represent so many different things.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is a perfect gateway for someone who wants to be in, or who's interested in animation. Because like growing up, I'm a 90s baby. Anime, which is Japanese animation, was always like put on this pedestal as like something that adults can enjoy.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of animes that are very adult. And I love that we're starting to explore that side here with American animation. And I think Creature Commandos is that perfect sweet spot where we have these adult themes, adult language, and it just feels cinematic on the way that anime is. Like, there's an anime called Akira, and there are so many films that are based on scenes in
Absolutely.
Akira.
I mean, it's kind of like a storyboard at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and I think also, like, I think what sets this apart from a lot of animation we see is that just the movement is so big and bold and beautiful, and it doesn't feel like I'm watching like a static panel that someone's just kind of like walking across,
Absolutely. And there's a comedy to it too, which is another signature of James Gunn, where there's a serious fight going on. But because these are people, right? They're not humans, but they're people.